Hello everyone, welcome back to Satisfactory. So we are on the top floor of my mega factory here today. Last episode, if you've missed it, we started our aluminum production and we've also been making ourselves some sheets here. We are producing 45 aluminum sheets per minute easily, which I'm sure we're going to have to amp up, which is why I made this expandable. We'll just move this line down further and further as we go. And expand on this. So this is expandable right here, but we're producing a lot for now. This is definitely more than enough for any faster belts that I need at the moment. Now our major project for today is I want to automate turbo motors. This is going to be a little bit of a project. Fortunately, we do have a ton of oil, plastic, and all the other stuff. We're actually sitting on top of a lot of it. There it is, all down there. There's a whole bunch of plastic production down on this level. So we can actually grab what we need from down here for as far as plastic, as far as any, I think it's just plastic here. We can, not the map. We can actually look that up now by pressing X, going to recipes, and doing a quick search for it here. So this is what I want to make. We're aiming for about 1 per minute, which I think is more than decent enough for what we're going to need. But it's going to take a lot of work. So we have to make heat sinks, which is good. We have the sheets already being made in large amounts. So we got to make those with some rubber into heat sinks. And then the heat sinks into radio controlled units split off going into radio controlled units. The computers, we're making something like 25 per minute, 24 per minute, so those are still not a problem. That's actually what this whole area is here. This area here produces 25 computers a minute. So we can take the computers from here. That damn Z button, I tell you guys, or Z depending on where you're from. But anyway, that damn button. Oscillators, we're actually already making some of those and we have a ton in storage. So I might just grab off of that. It is on the first floor, but we can always split off and bring it up here. That's not a problem at all. And we're going to have to make a whack load of motors. So I think this is the first thing we should concentrate on, is making motors. We got to start producing quite a bit of it. And then the rubber, like I said, we already got that taken care of. We don't necessarily need 25 computers per minute being made right now. So we can definitely seep off of that. And in the end, we're going to end up having nuclear pretty soon. So I could take all that oil we're using for power and bring it here by train and make a giant oil floor. Anyway, we got to get started, so I got to take a good look here. I want to save this area right here from where this belt is pretty much, some area over here too, for the aluminum and the aluminum plate production, because we're going to need lots of those anyways, and I'm going to continually store them. We need them for belts, so we got all of this area here to work with. Now, there is some iron nodes that way we can seep off of, and some iron nodes that way. Or I can bring some iron up from the first floor, which actually shouldn't be too much of an issue. Let's go down the floor here. I need to make some more areas to get up and down to. I only have one right now, and it's by this train station. See that only little hole? That's how I do it. I keep taking out floor sections and forgetting to replace them, so I kind of want to refrain from doing that. But here we go. So in here is where I said we have the oscillator production. I think it's right here. We're making 0.712 per minute. But judging by the looks of it, we can probably amp up the cable production, because it looks like that's kind of what's lagging behind. But the plates and the crystal don't seem to be having an issue. So we can always jack this up or just create a whole new production on the first on that floor. We'll have to see. We'll have to play it by ear as we go. But there is a main line right here of iron being kind of pumped out. We can add more to it if we really need to. I can bring it over here. That's why I left some room right here. And we can also build some better miners too. I can build some turbo motors by hand so we can get some more iron pumped into here. But we can also take off this line right here. I guess maybe right here. Probably fit one in. So let's go ahead, take this foundation out. And it's right on top of something. Can I squish through here? Huh. It's right where the train station is. Yeah, we possibly, most likely not able to fit one in here. I'm going to try it anyways. Well, that's definitely a no-go for taking it off of here, but this line does come further down this way. So let's go ahead, take a foundation out here, and see what we got around us. Yeah, I'm thinking right here is going to be the best spot. Put a splitter in probably right about here. Bring up another level, and then raise it up enough so that it cuts across, because this is all supposed to be for expansion. Or I could actually pile it on top of here and bring it around and tie it into this and then across there. Yeah, that'll work better. Keep everything at least in mostly in line. Okay, that's what we'll do. Alright, so I got mission accomplished here. It took a lot longer than it really should have. But we now have iron ingots on top of aluminum ingots. I love it. Early stage, late stage. And then we got some silica going back through here. But I like creating these lines because it keeps everything nice and equal and kind of creates a division in between different machines. And then I can use this as a walkway in between too, right? As a guideline. Now, how I ended up having to do this, I better be able to put this foundation. I never even checked. Aha! Sweet. So no matter what I tried down there with the splitter off this line right here, it ended up in between two of these. And I didn't like the two spaces, just for the one lift. So what I did, if we jump down, I attached it off of an old extension over here that I never used, went up to the roof, across, bent it in a little bit, and then brought it up and over. I actually think that looked pretty nice, and even with this hanging off of the supports here, I like how that looks. You could take these away if you wanted to, but I like that. Now it's all organized. It's running on top of everything and down a row. So, without further ado, we actually have to start producing motors. So for our motor production here, we're going to need rotors, equal rotors and equal stators. Now, I do have an alternate recipe for the rotors for steel pipes and copper wire to make the rotors, and the stators actually I have an alternate recipe for it. We can steal some quick wire too. We have tons of that we can peel off the line. We actually don't even need to make that. So all we need to do is, first thing we need to do is actually start pumping out steel pipes. So I have to get steel coming up here too, and then we can start making this. We are going to have to make some copper wire too, but that's okay. We can actually make that up here at home using iron to copper wire. So if we take a look down here, the main, it's a little bit under us, so that's okay. That main belta, or the main bus I was telling you guys about, is running right there. Let me fix that hole while we're looking at it. I'm not great at filling holes. Did I miss it? See, oh, I always miss it. There we go. Okay. But I can bring it up here and actually connect it to that line, and then we can produce a whole bunch of steel up there. So I'm actually going to snipe it off this row here. Will it reach? That is a question, because these are pretty tall, but I'm not sure if they're that tall. Oops, use the wrong ones. There we go. Oh, first step first, put a dang splitter on the line. There we go. Put one there. And, oh yeah, we're good. We have lots of room. Look at that. Look at that. So I'm actually going to try to line this up, and what I'm going to use is conveyor poles. This may take a moment. So the way I'm going to do this, I'm going to go, I'm looking up here. Oops. Go along the edge. 1, 2, 1, 2 steps over from the edge, so like 2 clips. So if I'm looking here where we got this, and I go from here, I go 1, 2, oops, 1, 2, there we go. So that should be in line with the rest of these. I'm gonna give it a quick double check before I try to line everything up. Yeah, we're good. We got space in between, so that's exactly what I want. So I'm gonna actually use that as a guideline as the front here to bring up, ooh, Maybe I'm going to use the middle of that as a guideline. I think we could still fit one up through there. Well, we're about to find out. Okay, and we are looking good. Look at that. Perfect. And it even, wow, right up against the foundation too. Huh, that was just a lucky try. So I'm not going to touch this quite yet. I'm going to get the second one nice and lined up here right beside it. Okay, before we go any further, I just realized that these lines are coming in from over outside. Look at this. They actually line up with the outside wall right here. And we could take a foundation out and just bring it straight up to the top floor. Right where we need it. Right there. Wow. I'm making this so complicated for absolutely zero reason. Okay, I'm going to go tear that down and we're going to put it here. That'll save us some time, some space, and I realize this is actually going right out into our storage area. I don't want that. So I've got this part complete here. Our steel's lacking a little bit behind because we're running a little low on coal. Now what's happened here is, oh, that one's fine there. The coal ran out a little bit on the other end. Is this slowly piling back up? Yeah, it's slowly piling back up. Okay, it'll eventually get producing all the way to the end. But what I had to do down here, because we had 24 encased industrial beams per minute right here, I'm nowhere near that capacity anymore, and I don't really need to be. This will eventually be probably redone or turned into something else or whatever. Not a big deal. But this line of coal we had running to it is actually pretty slow. So we may have to go up there at some point and actually upgrade the miner and upgrade all of the lines coming down to it. What I had to do is it was split off and going into here and then into here to fill this need at the time. We don't really have that need anymore, so it's not that big of a deal. But I'm going to keep my eye on it. If we do need to do that, then we have to upgrade our lines. That's what happens downtime. Oh yeah, see, now the third one down here is filling up. So I like this style here. It takes a little while to become efficient and everything. It just kind of fills up the lines and keeps going down and filling up machines. But eventually there'll be enough there to push all the steel out. So I pushed all the steel out, brought it down this line, brought it down a separate line here. And on this line, we're actually siphoning them off and turning them into steel pipes. And then they come back down this line here, and I put another line here. Now this is where a bus line is going to be. So I'm going to put a pole here. Let's jump on top of the splitter, kind of help us out. I'm going to put a pole here. And down this side here, down this wall, I can pull all of the supplies we need and make another main bus that's running, oh, let's say, yeah, right about here. We'll put it in the middle. That'll give us some room too, because I have found that I like running the power down the sides like this and then just kind of keep running it down that way. I never really run into trouble with the placement of them. And I make sure I have enough room to put the walls in too. That way I don't end up having to take power poles out to replace walls. I've had to do that a few times. But what I need to do now is I need to go down here. If we look, actually, we could probably do motors for the most part right now. Let's take a quick look at our recipes here before I get a hold of myself. Or ahead of myself, a hold of myself. Well, that's for after recording. Okay, so we need to get copper wire up here. Probably not a big deal. I can make some if I need it. If we're not having none close by. And we also need to get, we only need to get right now, we're going to need to get rubber up here, but for now, we only need to get quick wire. And if we take a quick look, there should be, oh no, look at all the copper wire right there. There's quick wire right there, copper wire right here. Problem solved. What I'll do is maybe siphon, we have a little bit of spare room down there. So maybe I'll siphon off right here and from over here, and then bring it up here, and then run it down the wall to here. That way it's nice and organized. This looks like a little bit of a project though. I will be back. Success is what we have. That did take a few moments, but we got a main line coming up here now. It looks nice and straight, and it is good to go. I do have to say, I am a big fan now of running this stuff up along the top. Now we could just pretend, because I have machinery in the bottom in the way. What I actually did was I actually just put a foundation down and built off the foundations on top of the machines. Built a whole bunch of the conveyor poles and then removed the conveyor poles. But I am a big fan of bringing stuff up to the ceiling and then just moving it up wherever you want to move it up, instead of like having to try to drill a hole in the right spot then build around it. Because like some of these areas have tons of room above the machines that we're just kind of wasting. So there we go. Now we have room. Now I can, like, even if I need to run something this way, let's say at a later point, I can run it one block lower or one level lower and underneath these ones. So I don't know. I don't think it'll end up becoming too much spaghetti, but we're coming along. So I got that main bus going down the other side. What I need to do is start setting up some assemblers now so we can start making some rotors and some stators. And mission complete. So what I've done here is for the first machine, I went and done stators. So this one here is producing stators and stators. Oh my god, I forgot to say that now. I even looked it up at one point in time. And this one here is making the rotors. So on this one, the stators again. And then this one, the rotors again. This way, I can feed one of each of these directly into making a motor. So if we take a quick look here at our recipes again, and we're looking up motor. To make our motor, we're going to need 2 parts. So we have to make another 2 assemblers. So what I think we're going to do is we're going to take our assemblers out here. Bang. And we're going to actually see if we cannot line up an assembler in the middle of 2 assemblers. Which you should be able to. I don't see why you wouldn't. But yeah, there you go. Okay, that works. And how much room do we need in between both of these? Now my question is, there's something I actually wanted to try too. We need about that much space, so right there, just a little bit ahead of this base. If I can merge 2 lines in, and only to one of these inputs on the assembler. Like, you know what I'm saying? If I take this and I take this and merge it, and then merge it into one, if it'll still pile up. I don't even know. I've never tried that. I'm going to try that at some point in time when I'm bored. But, anywho, there we go. So, are these equal? Those don't look equal, did I? Oh, it is off. Okay, let's try this again. I only need to place 2, so I may as well do it right. Okay, so I finally got these things hooked up and nice and even looking. Look at that. It's actually everything's staying nice and in line. I really like that. So essentially we should be able to produce 5 motors per minute. Now looking at this, it's saying it's taking 10 rotors per minute, 10 stators per minute. Now if we go look at our machines over here, they are only actually producing 9 per minute. So if we do need to, we can actually slightly overclock these. We have tons and tons of power shards, so that's not going to be a big deal, just to get just enough to keep these 100% efficient. And then if we look at this, we're going to need 18 steel pipes, and the quick wire don't need to worry about because we got tons of that production downstairs. But for the steel pipes here, because this is direct, this is going nowhere else but into that production. One machine is making 15, so essentially 2 for 1 is overkill, right? So it looks like we actually might be a little on. So these are where we can actually find our efficiencies and underclock all of these machines in the back, because like this steel is only going to here and that's only going to there. We actually might end up expanding it. I might leave this open over here just so we can produce even more if we need to. But we have the motors we need now, which is really, really nice. So we're producing our motors per minute. Now what I'm going to do is actually create a temporary storage here, because I want these machines to run, and I want them to keep running, because when you're building it, it gets backed up, supplies get backed up. I want to know if I have to amp up the production of any one resource to keep up with this production. So with those on the end, it'll just keep on producing. I'll come back over and delete it every once in a while. Or actually, they're motors. I'll save the motors. We can always use them. It would be nice too to maybe snipe a few motors for storage, but look at all the work to get motors. It's actually not so bad though with the alternate recipes. Isn't that beautiful? I love the organization. Yeah, you know what? Maybe we'll do like 11 per minute each machine, and then we can actually store 4 per minute motors for storage. Which actually seems like a little much. Or just do 2 machines at 11 per minute. And I guess that that makes sense. Only 2. Because both of these are a pair, so yeah. Oh yeah, that's not so bad. Anyway, less talking, more doing. We now have to figure out the other part here. So let's go ahead, pull out a recipe because my memory is toast. We're going to go motor. We're already making the motors now for the turbo motors. We also have a ton of these sheets made and being made. And we have to make these things here. So we have to make ourselves heat sinks, and we have to make radio control units. So this is going to be a little bit of a challenge here too. This is our next step. So I'm going to go ahead and start laying down some machines. Where I'm going to lay them down is actually seems really, really far from here to there. I mean, we can always like sneak off and leave room for expansion. Just like do this entire floor for the aluminum stuff, and then just do another floor for everything we need for nuclear, maybe? We'll see. Anyway, that's not even now. We got so much work to do. So I'm going to start like the aluminum rubber stuff down here, because this is where all our rubber ends up, is down on this end. So I can snipe the rubber easily from down there. And since our plates are being made down there, I can snipe them from there too. So I found this trick to actually be the best for laying these down instead of using the stackable conveyor poles. Much easier actually. Just put a foundation down up near the top. Sit this on the foundation, bring it up and get it hooked up to your whatever you need to hook it up to. And then come down. I'm going to clean this up here a little bit too. And you can connect your other end. Oh no, it's not long enough. That is okay. I can make a temporary conveyor pole stack and extend it here a little bit. Okay, and there we go. We now have a line running along the top of rubber. It was actually really easy to find my rubber. Usually I have a really hard time doing that, especially after a night out, but I found it. It was really easy to get to. I just brought it off the end of the line here, straight out, up and around, up through the roof, and then up top. I might get rid of that later on if I need to, but we'll leave it for now. Whoa! Love getting stuck on those things. But now we have a bus here going for our heat sinks. So I've chosen to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 assemblers making heat sinks, because we also need to dedicate some heat sinks towards making, holy crap, the radio controlled unit? Radio control unit, that's it. Which makes a lot of sense on a motor, in case you want to control your motors with the radio. But we have this, so we're gonna need also crystal oscillators. I'm really considering sniping those from the first floor, but whatever, because we only need yeah, this is going to be a little complex. Computer is going to be easy. They're literally right beneath us. We can bring them up just like that. Actually, yeah, we have a whole nother spot there. I can actually bring it up here and then put it on top of here and bring it around all nice. So we'll take care of these first, and then I got to build some manufacturers, I guess, and we got to figure out... oh, actually, you know what we can do? Okay, no, ignore me here. We're going to look up oscillators. See what we need to make those. Yeah, see, this is going to be a little bit of a pain in the butt. The reinforced iron plates, this, the crystal. So I'm thinking I'm going to actually snipe it from our production downstairs. Bring it up here through this main line here, and then attach it to our belt that's going to be in front of there. Or our bus, and then our bus from around here. You'll see. You'll see. We'll get it together. It's starting to get a little complex. Alright, so, you know how much of a pain in the butt it is to put splitters on a line sometimes. I found this new technique here. Like, if you look here, you're not going to get the line, and it's a little annoying trying to line it up, or if you stand in front. But if you look straight down and go along the ground and grab the guide, you can actually use that guide, clip up to the next, and up to the next, and as long as you're pretty accurate with it, it doesn't go away. And for the most part, you can actually line it up pretty carefully. So we'll do that one more time here. So I'm taking it, line it up, kind of gonna go straight. It's almost like you fool it, so it thinks you're still on the ground, and you can get your line. This is so much easier, because what I was doing before, and what I probably have to do in some situations still, is I was using stackable conveyor poles to center stuff out. Like, look at that. It's perfect. That's awesome. Okay, I'm gonna get these hooked up. And there we have it. Our first fully automated heat sinks. That is awesome. Oh, damn, I missed a row. Let's look at that. Okay. No, you guys didn't see that. Cut this. Don't cut it. Anyway, guys, it's been a couple of hours. Unfortunately, this project has taken a little longer than I thought. I always bite off more than I can always chew, but hey, that is okay. We've got motors going. We've got heat sinks going. So all we got to do now is make the radio controlled units, and then we can start actually assembling our turbo motors. But it looks like we have more than enough room to accomplish this, so I'm not too worried here. We have a little bit of room to expand over this way with these if we need more, and then we'll probably have more room to expand this way here too. I'm going to create another bus down the middle here, and then that's where we'll pull off all the supplies, I think, for the radio controlled units. Or I'm going to sit down and think about it and maybe make some more oscillators. Let's just actually take a second here, take a breath. Let's look up our oscillators. Okay, so for oscillators, yes, it was the cables and the reinforced iron plates. We already have copper wire up here. Oh, we can use plates. Oh, we always use plates. Anyways, I'm going to think about this, because this is actually not too bad. Like, look at that. There's wires right there. We also have iron coming up here too we can use. So yeah, I think we should actually just locally make the oscillators. Keep the storage, locally make the oscillators, and then we'll make the everything else we need, because we got tons of room, so we may as well do it. But I think it's looking good. What do you guys think? I'm really excited about this project. I'm starting to notice, I don't mean to toot my own horn here, but I'm getting a lot more organized with how I'm laying stuff out, especially with like being able to use stuff like elevators and everything. But I mean, everything looks nice and organized. There's room for expansion, and we're looking pretty good here, guys. So I just want to remind you before I go, stay classy, always back up them game saves, and I'll see you in the next episode when we complete our turbo motors. turbo motors. They took our turbo motors. Fist boop.